Hi, I'm Cora,
And I'm Abby.
and we're sharing a little bit about our 4-H experiences. So how did you start in 4-H?
So, in like 3rd grade, I had a friend ask me, she said, so I'm gonna get some chickens. You wanna show chickens in 4-H with me? And I said sure, and I've been showing ever since that. I was roped in pretty easily and pretty quickly, so.
Cool.
How'd you get started in 4-H?
My grandparents have always had horses, been riding with assistants since before I could walk, and after that after I started walking, I was able to ride by myself. So it was kind of just assumed that I would join my grandma's ministry and start doing 4-H with them. So, what else do you do in 4-H?
So I've been in a number of 4-H groups and done several different projects. So I started off in Thurston Flying Fingers, which was a sewing group. And then I don't remember which livestock group I was in first, but I would show Fancy Chickens. And to this day I'm in Wild About Animals, still showing Fancy Chickens, and I've taken a number of summer projects. So, yeah.
Pretty cool. I've taken a lot of summer judging projects. In 4-H there's a lot to choose from.
There's a lot.
I think the first one I ever took was sewing, and then I did all the photography projects, 1, 2, 3. I've done a lot. It's like, when you think about it, what have I done? Money management, like getting ready for work, just all the stuff that they have, I think it's pretty cool. So I barrel race horses. I do barrels and pool bending. I think I've done 4-H for 10 or 11 years. I'm a part of the Brett Friars 4-H group. This year I'm serving as vice president, but I've got an opportunity to serve as community service, health and safety, historian, treasurer, secretary, and now vice president. When I was a part of special projects for Market Goats, I got to serve as secretary and recreational officer.
That's amazing. You've held so many leadership, what do you call those? Leadership positions. That's it. I don't know how to use words sometimes.
Sorry.
I have unfortunately not gotten to hold a officer position in my 4-H group. However, right now in junior fair board, I am currently the correspondence secretary. So that's been fun to get into this year and kind of hold more of a responsibility and everything like that. So that was a fun new thing to do this year.
It's pretty cool. I love the fair. I mean, just walking around, people watching is always fun. But just walking around, seeing everybody's projects and watch everybody show, and then just like hang out with other 4-Hers. What all do you put into getting ready for fair?
For me, getting ready for fair is usually like, and I know it shouldn't be, but it's always like the last week thing. Like the last week before fair, I've got to finish my books. I've got to wash the chickens. I've got to get all of my stuff that I need for fair ready. Got to go over everything I might need for showmanship and everything. So it's poor time management, and I'll admit that. But yeah, it's always crazy week before and then a crazy week after.
So as a member of the Junior Fair Board, what do you guys put into making sure the fair runs smoothly?
Oh, yeah. So we have a lot of meetings throughout the year, and as we get close to the actual fair, like about this time, a couple months ago actually, we started having like training where we get to learn how to use the programs on the computers and learn how to scan tags and everything, and how to like how we can help the senior fair board members and all of the tagging in and weigh-ins and everything. Yeah.
Cool. That's a lot.
It's a lot of work, but it's so worth it.
I know us as 4-Hers, we appreciate everything that you guys put into make sure all of our shows run smoothly, so thank you.
Absolutely.
Fancy chickens. Are those like the fluffy chickens?
They are the fluffy chickens.
So what do you have to do to make sure that they're ready?
So I have to give them baths, which is crazy to say. I bathe my chickens for show. I do. And they don't just get like dunked in a tub of water or anything. They get special water. Like I have to get them all sudsy in soap water, and then I rinse them off in white vinegar water because it makes them shinier and fluffier.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So do you have to, I don't know, this might not be applicable to chickens, but I know like with some birds you have to clip their feathers and do different things. So what's kind of the project entail for like your entire year? Like starting at the beginning of the year when you get the chicken to like fair, like what's kind of do you have to do?
So for fancy chickens, at least mine, it's a little bit different because I've had the same chickens for 5 or 6 years now. So I don't get a new project every year. So it's just kind of yearly. I have to maintain their health and safety and make sure that they're eating right and doing well health-wise. They have no infections or anything. So that's kind of just the funniest thing ever is to take a chicken into the vet. Like have you ever, like, if you don't have chickens, then you probably don't know, but calling your local vet and, hey, do you guys see chickens? It's crazy. And then you walk in with a fluffy chicken, they're like, what is that? So
that's pretty cool. You mentioned showmanship earlier. What does that look like with chickens? Because I know for horses, we have like a large animal. So we go in there, we do a pattern, we do our quadrants, and like it's just how we handle the horse and ourselves when we are in the ring. So what does showmanship look like for you in chickens?
For chickens, showmanship is more like how you and your bird react with each other. So the last time I showed at fair, because I didn't show last year, it was really interesting because for some reason I made the bad decision of taking a broody hen. So my hen thought that she was sitting on eggs that had babies in them and wanted to hatch them out, which makes them really mean and protective. And she was not working with me very well. So I got docked down some, but I think it also helped me some because I handled her really well while she was not cooperating. But then the judge will ask questions like about the different breeds, and you have to name some other breeds of chickens and talk about what different feathers, and sometimes they have you name parts of them and everything. So
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know I did goats. I still did showmanship. I won my showmanship class like 3 years in a row. But we would go in there. I show market wethers, so it was just taking them in there, walking them around, like how do you handle your goat, and then bracing them, making sure like they're presented well. That way you can see like their muscle quality. And then they would go through, they'd feel out the goat, make sure like your goat's not like squirming a whole lot and stuff like that. And then they would ask about like the different parts of the goats and different breeds. So I think that's more similar than what it is with horses.
Probably.
With horses, it's so like proper. Like you go in there and it's absolute silence. Like the judge doesn't even talk to you, and you wait for like everybody else to do their patterns, and then you watch everybody else, and then you have so much time to just sit there and nitpick your pattern. I don't know how many times that like I've actually placed in showmanship. Like I got second last year. I nitpicked it so bad. Like I went first, and like compared to everybody else, I was like, oh my goodness, like he stepped out too soon on his spin. He didn't back 100% straight. Like I nitpicked it to death. But I feel like that's a lot more nerve-wracking than like when I did goats.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a lot easier.
I can't imagine actually. Like that sounds so nerve-wracking.
Right?
Like I could never. Yeah. So you talked about all of the leadership positions that you have held. What do you think has had the most impact on you and your 4-H journey?
That's a really good question, actually. I feel like this year, being vice president, being secretary and treasurer, like you give your reports and stuff like that, but you don't have to interact as much with the younger members. Like it's not as much of an expectation. Like I always have by like choice, but I've been more cautious of like how I carry myself during meetings and like making sure that they're with us instead of just like run through the agenda and leave. Just like making sure that they're where they're supposed to be. And I love kids. Like I plan on being a physical education teacher and coach after I graduate. I do like the mentoring here at school, up in the gym. So I think that's been like the most impactful, just being able to like help the younger members with their books, their records, their projects. I think it's been pretty cool.
Absolutely. It's always good to see like the kind of impact that you can make on people as well as like the impact that they are making on you. And I think that's a big thing in 4-H.
Okay, so thank you for joining us for our podcast, and we will see you next time.